Joshua Smith here, and welcome to the GSD Mode podcast. Now get shit done and smash that subscribe button now. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Mode Studios with another weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to talk to you about seven absolutely crucial things that it takes to go out there and be a successful team leader. So whether you are a real estate team leader currently, or maybe you're an aspiring team leader, you're a real estate agent, individual agent, and you're wanting to eventually grow a team and create a successful real estate team. So regardless of what level that you're at with this, these 7 tips or 7 different crucial must items I'm going to walk you through with are extremely important. One of the things I don't think a lot of real estate agents understand is that the failure of team leaders is higher than the failure of real estate agents. So we all know that 90% of real estate agents drop out in the first 3 years and so forth. And what I mean by saying that the failure rate for team leaders is higher than the failure rate for real estate agents, it's not that they necessarily drop out of the business. It's that, hey man, they have this mission, this desire, this hunger to go out there and create a team. But then they discover, holy shit, man, I wasn't prepared for this. This was much harder than I thought it was going to be. And they retract and go back to being an individual agent. We see it over and over and over. So these 7 things that I'm going to share with you guys today are absolutely essential to creating a successful team and making sure that you succeed and don't fail at it. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to break down here, number 1 is getting clarity on why you want to be a team leader. Right? There's a lot of benefits to creating a team, but there's also a lot of struggles that come with it. Just being fully upfront and honest with you guys, the most challenging thing that I've had to do in my real estate career is becoming a team leader and becoming a successful real estate team leader. Being a successful real estate agent at the time felt like it was a lot of challenges and created a lot of challenges and so forth, but had nothing to do, there's no comparison. At least in my experience. Hopefully I can eliminate some of the frustrations by walking you guys through this on this channel here. But creating a real estate team was much more challenging. But the benefits and the rewards can be much great, right? Can be worth it and be great. And I don't regret any aspect of becoming a team leader. I love being a team leader. I plan on being a team leader for the rest of my entrepreneur career, the rest of my real estate career. But get extremely clear on why it's important to you to be a team leader. What does it mean to you? What are the benefits of it for you? Some of the benefits, and I'll just share with you guys some of the benefits. I think a lot of people jump into becoming a team leader for the wrong reasons. It's easy to allow ego to get in the way and so forth. And look, you guys, the first thing I want to say here as I get into the why and the benefits of creating a team, there's nothing wrong with not becoming a team leader, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make more money either, right? Like we want to get into this for the right reasons. Now, I know a lot of team leaders, you can have a lot of financial success as a team leader and so forth, but you got to always know what you're signing up for. Right? Like I always want to get clarity. Any venture that I'm going to go on, I want to get clarity on what is it going to take to create the success that I want to take, and is the sacrifice worth it? Right? It could take years of creating and developing and running and operating a team before you start to reap those financial rewards. Right? Now, some of the benefits that I've had as a team leader is it doesn't necessarily make you more money. Now, it depends on how you structure your team, how you run your team and so forth. But when I was a team leader, when I was in production and running my team, I made significantly more money than I make today being a team leader that's not in production. I make good money now, but I used to make great money, right, when I was in production. I haven't matched or exceeded the amount of money that I was making in regards to my real estate team, and is the amount of money I was making in my pocket as when I was in production as a team leader. Now, that doesn't mean that you've got to exit from production, but as I was able to grow my team and exit from production, yes, I might maybe making less money, right, but I was able to buy back my time, right? So as you grow your real estate team, not only are you able to add other sources of revenue inside your business and so forth, right? But over time, you're able to lower your personal production as the team production goes up and buy back some of that time, right? So if that's something that you really honor, If all you want to do is stack money and make money and so forth, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you might want to stay in production, right? But if it's important for you to go out there and create residual income coming in, that you're in and buy back that time and so forth, right? So again, get clear on why it's important for you to create a team, because there's a lot of additional headaches and so forth. And I'm going to walk you through and help you hopefully plan for this effectively. But again, get clear on why you want to go out there and create a team. And I would highly recommend to not let your ego get in the way of it, right? So why it's important for you to go out there and create a team and what that means for you. And I shared with you the time, the freedom, and so forth. But think about it. You guys, you want to be, I don't want to say you want to be, but it's nice to be in a position where you're adding other sources of income. Now, I know that this might still go into the same bucket and same revenue for you coming in to you through your real estate company, your real estate team, but let's just say as an example right now, we're averaging just over 50 transactions each and every month. I'm not closing those transactions, but I get paid on each one of those. So every time that I add an agent to my team and they get onboarded, they get trained and so forth, I don't want to compare it to adding a rental property to a portfolio, because that's not completely passive income. There's a difference between passive income and residual income, but it's residual income, right? It's leverage, man. I'm able to go out there and be able to earn money off of that person's efforts. So every time that you add somebody to your team, let's just say each agent on your team, as you add a new agent, once they're on board, once they're trained, once they're rocking and rolling, is closing a deal a month. And after splits and so forth, maybe make $4,000 on that on a gross level. Well, every time you add an agent, that's another $4,000 a month on average. If your average production per agent is a deal a month, that's coming in that you're adding to the pipeline, right? And it can be nice. One of my agents that I mentor, their goal is to create $10,000 a month of residual net income. So we were able to break it down and identify, okay, here's how many exactly agents that you need based on your expenses and so forth, right? That allows them to be bringing in $10,000 a month of residual income that's not based on their efforts. Now, it's not a ton of money, right? But it's nice to be able to, for them, that gives them the ability to go out there and vacation a little bit more and not have so much stress on them personally to go out there and always produce, right? And then obviously you can take it as big as you want to take it. All right, so number one, get clear on why you want to create a team, why it's important to you. Now we're going to get more tactical with this. So number two, you must commit to being a leader. Now this is really important. One of the hard lessons I had to learn when I started my team is that my ability of being a great realtor had very little to do with my ability of being a great team leader. Right now, your ability of being a great realtor, like if you're not a great realtor, you shouldn't be starting a team in the first place, right? You should be a great realtor, servicing your clients, so forth, growing, doing so much business that you have an abundance and an overflow of business that you need teammates now to help support you with that business. So being a great realtor is crucial, right? You're gonna have to mentor your agents, you're gonna have to teach your agents, right? Being able to plug them into your world-class listing presentation, your world-class buyer presentation, your lead follow-up strategies, and so forth. So that's an important component to it, right? But the majority of your success as a team leader now, you're a leader, right? So you need to commit to being a leader. You now are leading those that choose to follow you. And this is a different type of responsibility. Right now you have people that are choosing, like their livelihoods, their ability to be able to produce for their families, is somewhat dependent on you. And it's a whole different level of responsibility. So it's bigger than you. Now, I personally love that type of accountability. Right? It adds a lot of extra accountability, a lot of extra drive. It forces me to be much more disciplined and so forth, right? Because I can't just choose to take time off. I can't just choose to let the foot off the accelerator, at this time, because if I do, that doesn't just impact me and my bank account. Now it's impacting all those that I lead. So if you are not ready to step up to the plate, to lead other people, to commit to being a great leader, then don't step up to the plate. Right? It's a huge responsibility. You need to take it extremely serious, and you've got to commit to those that are choosing to follow you. So you got to commit to being a great leader. Number three, create your core values as early on as you possibly can. I recommend before you start your team, or maybe you already have a team, if you already have a team, as soon as you possibly can, get clear on your core values. Now this comes back to, some of these kind of go hand in hand with each other. And I apologize, I'm looking down at my cheat sheet here if you're watching this on YouTube, watching my eyeballs. But when you create your core values, to become a great leader, so your core values are the values that you operate your business and operate your life by that matter most to you. And this is what you're looking for when you're hiring agents, when you're hiring staff, is you want to find people that live by those same values, that those values are important for. Well, your job as the leader each and every day at the highest core level, there's a lot of other responsibilities that you have as a leader, but at the highest level is to be at a level 10 of those each and every day. And I'm not saying like I don't always operate at a level 10 of my values. There's times I fall short, but I got to self-check myself and grow and reflect from those times and do everything I can to be operating at a level 10 of what those core values are. So again, identify what those values are that matter most to you. Right? It might be a person of integrity, somebody that honors their commitments, hardworking, somebody that's has a growth mindset, that's about growth and development, that's about expansion, whatever it may be. But again, it's your job to be, let's just say hard work is one of your core values. Well, then you, as a leader, you need to be the hardest working in your organization. Maybe self-development's important to you. Well, you better be the most self-developed in the organization. The speed of a company can only go as fast as the speed of the leader. So now you are the leader of the pack, man. It's your responsibility to be operating at a level 10, at a higher level than everybody else in the organization. Set the stage, right? Be the light of the organization, be the inspiration of the others in the organization, and so forth. All right, so number 4, you must be a rain maker. So again, from a task standpoint, I don't want to say that you have 2 main roles. There's a lot of different roles, but as a team leader, man, like your job is to create opportunities and hold your people accountable. And when it comes out of growing a team, there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow a team. We talked about why you want to, getting clarity on why you want it and so forth and why that's important to you. From day one, I wanted to be a team leader, right? But it didn't mean that I was ready to be a team leader. I knew from the day I got into the real estate business that I wanted to create a business. I didn't just want to have a job. And as an individual agent, if you're in production and your business relies on you showing up each and every day, doing deals and so forth, you have a high-paying job. Right? You don't have a business necessarily until you can step away from it and business is happening as usual without you. So you want to make sure that you're growing your team out of necessity, not just out of want. Nothing wrong with wanting it, but you don't actually start to grow it and expand it until the necessity kicks in. So you grow your team out of necessity, not out of want. So in order to do that, man, you got to be a rainmaker, man. You got to be great at generating an overflow of opportunities, an overflow of leads, an overflow of opportunities that you can no longer handle, and that way that you need to start delegating these things out to others as you grow your organization, right? And you got to be out there generating opportunities, and you got to be able to hold your people accountable, which great leaders are able to hold their people accountable. All right, so number 5, and this is extremely important. You must allocate your time in business correctly. This is one of the biggest reasons why I see teams fall apart, team leaders fall apart, is they don't know how to allocate their time. As you start, let's just say you start bringing on agents, you're bringing on staff and so forth. Well, until you get to a certain size, most team leaders that I see out there, they're 80, 85, 90% of the production coming into their business. It might take you until you get to the point where you have 10, 15 agents inside your organization, right before that income starts to be profitable for the organization and so forth. In not all cases, depending on the model and the structure, it's different for everybody. I'm just speaking as in generalities for most teams that I see out there, right? So most team leaders that I know that are in production that are under 10 agents, they're at least 50 to 60%, if not more, of that production. But what happens is they start hiring staff, right? Make sure that you're hiring staff before you're hiring agents. That's extremely important. That's not part of these 7 must crucial steps. It's just kind of a bonus tip. But every team leader that I've ever talked to that's ever hired agents before building out that support team lives to regret it. Now, luckily, I didn't make that mistake, because I had a great mentor that was able to walk me through the team building process. So my first hire was an assistant, right? But you get to a capacity for me, it was 48 deals a year, right? I brought in an assistant that then should take you to 100 deals a year, so forth, and you keep growing it that way. But make sure if you don't have that admin support in the first place, you start hiring agents before you have the admin support, you will become the admin, right? But going back to time allocation, right? You start bringing on agents. Look, I get it. They need a lot of support. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of training. But you got to understand that if most of the production is on you, you need to allocate your time correctly. So what I tell new team leaders, and when I say new team leaders, I mean this is going to be most team leaders that are under 10 agents or so forth, that are still building out their, kind of in the early stages of building out their team, is to have 90% of their time when it comes to their actual work week spent on their own production. Right, get clear on how much that you need to sell, what those numbers are, like you're still in production. So, it's the 90-10, 90% of your time is on your own individual production, making sure that you're taken care of, the business expenses are taken care of, your family's taken care of, your obligations are met, because if they're not, there's going to be no team to continue. Right, if you don't take care of yourself on a selfish level, it's going to all implode anyway. Right? So 90% time allocation on your own business, your own production, and 10% of the allocation onto when in regards to supporting your agents on your team. And there's a methodical way to do this where it can still be highly effective and have the best of both worlds. And what I recommend is to get away as much as you possibly can from doing one-on-ones and not becoming the God-a-minute person. Right? It's so easy to become the God-a-minute guy. Oh, Josh, you got a minute. You got a minute. Well, no, I don't got a minute, man. Like if I become the got-a-minute guy, I'm not able to go out there and focus on my own production as well as the overall growth of the team and so forth, right? So do as much as you possibly can in groups. So what I recommend is doing a daily huddle. Now with COVID going on, and this might be something that you keep going on based on if you're virtual or bricks and mortar based, but do a 15 to 20 minute daily huddle, 5 days a week. This might be at 8 a.m. with everybody on your team, all the agents on your team and so forth, right? And then during that huddle, just have them all go through what is your plan for the day. This just ensures that they're planning, it holds some accountability, right? And they're declaring what their plan is to you as well as all their peers, right? Here's my lead generation plan for the day. Here's how many leads I'm going to generate. Here's my follow-up plan for the day. Here's the client appointments I have today. Here's, right? Like they're just going to go through their plan. So it takes a few minutes going through each person to go through what their plan is for that day. And then you as the leader, obviously you participate as well. But then it gives anybody, before you hang up there, have everybody go through their plan and then just see if, hey, is there anything as you guys go to execute on your plans? This is what I'd be saying in the huddle. Before we hang up, I want to make sure I'm supporting you guys at the highest level. Is there any support that you guys need from me or the team to help you go out there and have a great day and execute on your plan? So that's their opportunity and chance to raise their hands, speak up. Oh, hey, I've got this obstacle. I need this help. And you always need to be, this is part of being a leader, man. You always are looking for ways to be able to coach and consult, and direct your people. So when somebody brings up something that isn't an emergency, right? Maybe if it's a fire that's going on in a transaction and they truly need your support and help right now and it's a true emergency, okay, we'll handle that at this time, right? But if it's something that can wait till that huddle, the following day, just say, oh, that's a great thing. Yeah, that's a great point that you're bringing up. Make sure to bring that up in tomorrow's huddle. Right? So just teaching and training them on what that looks like and that infrastructure and so forth. Then schedule 1 hour a day and do this at your slowest time of the day where you can be there to respond to any inquiries, obstacles, anything that they're facing, and so forth. Now, I know everybody's different with their structure and so forth, but as much as you can, you guys, is a team leader. Now, this is speaking specifically to team leaders. So most of you don't own your own brokerage, right? Well, we have brokers for a reason, right? Like we're paying our brokerages and our brokers money for a reason. So I'm going to also teach, coach, and train my agents to rely on our designated broker and our broker support through the brokerage, right? So like I want my agents to, when they have a business question, a coaching question, come to me, right? If they need verbiage on a contract or so forth, right, that they need help with, go to the broker on that. Right? Like if they get the information from me, that's not going to necessarily back them in a lawsuit anyway. Like leverage your broker. I'm not saying that I don't want my agents to come to me for contract writing help and so forth, right? But we're paying our brokers for a reason. Right? Like leverage that, rely on that, and hopefully you're with a great brokerage and you have great broker support that can take that kind of monkey off your back, as that's a freaking job, that's a responsibility anyway. Right? So then set aside an hour a day where you can be available. Now this is going to be a slow time of the day, slowest time of your day, 5 days a week, whatever, where they can reach out to you during that time, email you, they know you're going to get back to them during that time. And then one 90-minute meeting each and every week, right? And I'm not going to break down what to do in that meeting today. I'm happy to create another video if you guys want that. You can comment below, and I can create another video on what those 90-minute jam sessions look like. But again, it's just going through obstacles, going through for the wins of the week, going through what the weekly plan is, and so forth for that week. And it's more of a mastermind, right? But this is how you can allocate it, where then, again, if you're working 60 hours a week, which if you're not willing to work 60 hours a week, you probably shouldn't be signing up to become a team leader in the first place, right? Where you have 10 hours structured set aside for supporting your agents, and then now you got 50 hours a week to grow your own personal business. So time allocation is extremely important. Number 6, you're now in the recruiting game, right? And not that you weren't before. Right? As agents, we're recruiting buyers, we're recruiting sellers, but as a team leader, you are also now recruiting agents. So you're always looking for talented agents that are core value fit, that are going to be a great add-on to your team. But you need agent recruiting is no different than going after a seller, right? Or really recruiting buyers, sellers. It's all the same process. You need to make sure that you're tracking your data, so you're able to create a measured, predictable recruiting plan, so you know the exact amount of efforts it takes to recruit on a new agent. Make sure that you have a CRM set up for your agent recruits, so you're able to nurture those and so forth. You have your recruit presentation, and you always want to continuously be recruiting. Now, there may be a point in time where you have plenty of agents and there's not an abundance of leads, but even during those times, I still recommend that you're always recruiting, right? Because if you find an A player, they might be able to replace your kind of weakest link on the team and so forth, right? Even at times where I haven't been looking to hire agents on my team, if I find a rockstar agent, I'm going to make room for them. So have a diligent, intentional recruiting plan. This is why I see most teams and most brokerages stay small, because they say stupid shit like, oh, we just attract agents. We don't recruit agents, we just attract agents. That would be like me as an individual agent or as an agent that's worked with buyers and sellers saying that, oh, I don't go out there and lead generate, I don't lead follow up, I just attract buyers and sellers. Right? Meaning I'm just working off referrals and so forth, and like anybody that's trying to just attract buyers and sellers that doesn't have an intentional game plan to go out there and get them, right? They're playing defense, not offense, is going to be a failed agent, right? So you want to have an offensive plan to go out there and constantly be recruiting and adding on agents. The 7th and last point is make sure that you're running your business as a business, right? Not that you shouldn't be doing this as an individual agent, but as a team leader, now this adds to it, right? Not only you tracking your numbers for your buyers and sellers, but you're also, the things that we track is when I bring on a new agent, as an example, when I say new to my team, right? I'm tracking, okay, well, how long from when they sign the team agreement, right? Treating a business like a business means that you're going to have a team agreement, right? You always got to protect your assets. So we're going to have a team agreement, right? From the day that they sign that agreement, well, what's the average time it takes for them to get onboarded, meaning rocking and rolling with us, trained, before they're producing? Right? So how long is that time? How long are they with you on average? What's your average agent production? Right? I highly recommend that if you're in production running a team, I highly recommend that you operate 2 P&Ls, right? Your own personal P&L, and then separate that from the team's P&L, right? So then that gives you a true picture of what, and it doesn't have to be separating the P&Ls, but separating the numbers so you can see what the actual revenue is coming in from your agents. You know what their average production is. A mistake I see a lot of team leaders make when it comes to tracking their numbers is they throw their numbers all in the mix. Well, as a team leader, you might be closing 100 deals a year, where your agent's average production might be 15 deals a year. Right? Well, if you're throwing in your 100 deals a year that you're closing and throwing those with the averages, it's going to give you a very skewed result. Like, I want to know, separate from my production, what's my average agent production? What's my average agent, monthly company dollar and so forth with those. So you got to make sure that this is a business, man. You treat it as a business, run it as a business. You know your data inside and out. You're making smart business decisions based off of that, right? Again, growing out of necessity, not just want. But this is extremely important. So these 7 key things, just to recap these really fast. Number 1 is getting clarity on why you want to create a team, why it's important to you. Number 2, commit to being a team leader, right? Commit to being a leader. It's a big responsibility that you want to make sure that you're committed to taking on. And you've got to, success isn't owned, it's rented, and the rent's due every single day. One of my favorite Darren Hardy quotes, right? So being a leader is something that you got to recommit to each and every day. Number 3, getting clarity on and very clear on your core values. And then making sure at your highest level of your responsibilities to be a level 10 at each one of those. Number 4, being a rainmaker. You got to be a rainmaker. Number 5, allocation of your time. So you're able to focus on your business as well as your agents, and they're supporting your agents without it getting out of whack and skewing that, and so your business doesn't dip. Number 6, having a recruiting plan for agents inside your organization as well as staff. And number 7, running your business as a business. So if you guys found this helpful and you like these strategies and these tips, make sure that you snag my new book at joshuasmithfreebook.com. It's called Dominate Your Real Estate Business, Top Tips from a Top Producer. There's nothing being sold. It's just top strategies, methods, and things that I've learned over my 15-plus year career that have allowed me to become one of the top realtors and team leaders on the planet. And I'm just breaking those down, sharing those with you, scripts, strategies, everything from business planning to lead generation and everything in between. So make sure to snag that at joshuasmithfreebook.com. All right, guys, hopefully you found this helpful. Appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace. Hope you enjoyed this GSD Mode podcast episode. Now make sure you get shit done and smash that subscribe button now.